This is Moments with Foo with James Foo Torres, better known as Foo, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Moments with Foo is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Foo.
Hello and welcome to Moments with Foo. I'm your host, James Foo Torres, but you can call me Foo, hence the name of the podcast. And today I have Sean Cannell. He's the founder of Think Media. You might have seen him around, pretty big, millions of followers on there. And also he's the author of YouTube Secrets. And I'm going to let him tell you more about that. But first, Sean, how are you?
Foo, I'm fired up to be on the podcast, super grateful. And there's a lot of opportunity on YouTube right now. So I love this topic.
Yeah, I mean, there's YouTube podcast just launched, fresh out of the oven. So we'd like to get a little bit of that from you. But let's kick it off with a quick introduction about yourself and your company.
Yeah, so my name is Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel. Think Media helps people build their influence with video and YouTube. And so one of the things we do is educate people to figure out how to create content itself, whether they want to build a video podcast studio, pick the right camera, accessorize their smartphone, set up some lighting, build a studio. And our main YouTube channel is over 2 million subscribers. A lot of the content on there is like a free video creation college where you've got video editing tutorials, picking out lenses and cameras. And so whether you want to spend $300 or $3,000 or $30,000 on equipment and build a full-on, video podcasting empire, we have a lot of videos and content over there. And then we teach the YouTube strategy side. So wrote a book, YouTube Secrets, have a course on YouTube, and we have a lot of free training, and our podcast is all on YouTube. And you could call us, especially for your community, we'd probably be a video marketing resource with a specialty in YouTube. Although for everybody listening, we published 398 pieces of content every week over the last 4 weeks in our business, for our own business. And so we're posting vertical video on TikTok and Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels, Pinterest Reel. So video itself is people's preferred content format. Audio is great, the written word is great, and these are all opportunities, but video is king, and video is giving you the most algorithmic opportunity right now as a business owner, coach, leader that wants to get your message out there. So mastering and learning video is very important if you want more leads, customer sales, impact, revenue. That's what we do.
And I would add to that is you can always start with video and then, have the audio for the podcast side of things, then transcribe into an article, into a blog, right? Like it just video gives you can go down from video, but then, you can't go really up unless you do like animations or stuff, right? But that is why if you start with video and then you can trickle it down into other things, I think that's just the best thing that you can do. So, I definitely agree with you on that. So let's talk about some actionable tips or advice that you have for business owners, especially, with video marketing. It doesn't have to be necessarily YouTube, but just, video marketing, how, you already touch up that's something that you really help with people with. So what are some actionable tips that business leaders can take action on right now?
Yeah. When it comes to video for business leaders, number one, you've got to make a commitment to do it. So probably even before number one, I think you need to understand the why behind it, because reasons come first, results come second. If the reason you're probably hesitating for maybe leaning into video is you're like, I'm too busy, I'm not convinced it'll lead to leads, customers, client sales, I'm overwhelmed. But if I could tell you that when on the other side of you posting video content is improvements in your team and the quality of people you're attracting to your business to work with you, improvements in your brand awareness and the ease of closing sales, because know, like, and trust has been accelerated because people are building a relationship with your video content before they're ever on the phone or in the DMs or in a social selling or email marketing environment. the improvement of your brand and brand awareness, so that while sometimes growth is slow at the start, 5 years from now, you're going to regret not having online influence when there is digital real estate to be had right now by those who take action and start putting out content on their brand. What I would challenge you in adding obviously some examples here is like, first, just determine if you want to do this or not, because you're asking for actionable tips. Here's a tip: don't do video. Because if you're comfortable, if you're making enough money, if you have enough leads, if you're comfortable with where you are, if you don't care about building your personal brand, if you don't want to reach more people, yeah, then don't do video. It's going to take work. But if you do want to build your brand, get more leads, get more clients, get more such, get ahead of your competition, or simply maintain your current market share by not losing to your competitor who is embracing video content, then lean into video. So number one, get some clear reasons around your vision and the why and what you want to achieve with it. Number two, make a commitment. Mainly for the business owner, as soon as you commit to something, it's kind of game over after that, because you already got where you are. Like you committed to building a sales team. You committed to starting your business. You got to 6 figures. You got to multiple 6 figures. You got to 7 figures. You have done this before. You can do this in video. But commitment looks like, I think what people, you've committed to doing Facebook ads or Meta ads, and you've spent money on them, and you got an ROI. But during that time too, you also probably hired an agency that sucked once and paid for them for 3 months, and then you had nothing to show for it. I know we did 10K on ads in the early days and had 0 ROI. So we lost $10,000. That stings, man. That's painful. But we survived. Now we're doing $1 million a year in ads just in spend, right? And so what we committed to learn and to grow. So what I would challenge is commitment doesn't look like, oh, but if I start shooting some videos and I don't get results in day one, I'm not going to do this. Did your business get results in day one when you started doing whatever the main thing it is you do? And when you committed, you probably risked on hiring somebody or stretching it, having to cast the vision for someone to volunteer or be a part of what you're doing based on profit share in the early bootstrap days of your business. I am speaking to the business leader to say, treat video marketing as a media startup within your company, and put money towards it, put time towards it, put team towards it, put hiring towards it, and treat it even like R&D. If it doesn't work out, you'll be okay. But what if it does work out? And my encouragement is that it will work out if you take it seriously. Because for the principal person, I did a meetup in Miami. A bunch of people came out, and one person asked me, they're the principal person of $1 million business, CEO or founder, and they were like, I want to get into all this stuff. And what should I do first? And I said, the first thing you should do is figure out who is going to run this for you, not how you're going to do it. Because I was like, you're pretty busy, right? Yeah. And revenue's coming in, things are coming in. Yeah. So you should hire somebody like a shredder, a producer, shooter, editor, to be the brains and be the mastermind and be the person that is gonna do the heavy lifting of this for you, depending on where you're at. Now, if you're in the bootstrap, you're trying to figure out grassroots marketing, tip number 3 is, after you understand the reason for doing this, you've committed to doing this, is to start doing this. And I would start with short form vertical video, YouTube Shorts. You've got Instagram Reels, you've got TikTok. The cool thing is you could create an asset. I did it yesterday. From 9:45 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at night, I read a Business Insider article. I saw a clip from an entrepreneur that I respect. I created a green screen. I recorded my screen of them talking because I was watching a YouTube video. I recorded a clip of this person of influence. I did the green screen. We've all probably seen that on different reels where someone's talking in front of a screenshot behind them, maybe an animated TikTok behind them, or maybe for a lot of business professionals, it's like the real estate market is crashing, CNBC, and the agent is this is what's happening in the market. And I assembled a vertical video that I first posted on Reels, downloaded it before I posted it with music so that my audio was still embedded. Then connected a Black Rob song, which was an old, instrumental banger from the olden days. posted it. Then I went over to YouTube and I posted it as a YouTube short, and I natively connected the music right there. I clicked the button, selected. They didn't even have the same song, so I ended up going with like Post Malone instrumental, the wow, you know, boom, 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 boom. Connected that song up, 10% or 7% audio, so it doesn't so it's quiet, just a nice little subtle bed. Titled it, did all the nuanced YouTube optimization. Then I took the same video asset over to TikTok, added captions that they auto do there on TikTok. I was able to find the same Black Rob song. Doesn't even matter, but it kind of does. Like understanding these nuances or thinking about your audience or using trending audio, and posted it over on TikTok, added the caption, made a thumbnail there. I couldn't do a thumbnail on YouTube Shorts. They don't let you. They do on Android, not on iOS right now. It doesn't matter. So I posted it. I did a custom thumbnail. I selected the thing on Instagram. I framed it up in the grid properly, and then went over to TikTok. And now, in all kindness, the listener might be completely freaked out by everything I've just described, but this took me 45 minutes. The creation of the content, the posting it in 3 places, and the posting it according to best practices to each of the platforms. And I posted a vertical video using just my phone with no fancy microphone or anything else, just sitting here in my home office. And it's performing in 3 places pretty well. And it took me 45 minutes. So
you can use something like this too. Like I use this directly to my phone, and then I connect my Yeti mic, right? If you already have a mic, right? Because you're committed to content, that's another little thing too.
Totally. And admittedly, though, I've got 400 mics because I'm a tech YouTuber, and I still didn't use a mic because talking right in front of your phone in a generally carpeted, quieted area is like completely relevant and high enough quality audio. So what I want to encourage, the number 4, if that was number 3, is if you've committed to doing this and you understand the reasons why, and then you just start creating and you start with vertical video, is then just commit to learning and leveling up. Start before you're ready, start messy, punch fear in the face, punch perfectionism in the face, start poop your pants scared, and just do it. Who cares what Sally from high school thinks? Who cares if you get a negative comment? And who cares if you don't get any views? Use your season in obscurity to prepare you for popularity. This is your practice season, and you just start. But I also want to say how practical that was. Everybody can find 45 minutes that's listening to this. There's a real estate agent and real estate investor, more appropriately, named Anton, who lives in Snohomish County up in the Seattle region, who posts 1 vertical video a day across Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. He's very busy. He's got a team in real estate. He's got a business partner that helps him on construction jobs. He's doing development deals, land deals, building projects. He's an agent. He's got a team of agents underneath him. He's running stuff at Keller Williams. He is freaking busy, and he can do a vertical video a day. He actually bought a separate Samsung phone, and he hired his son and 1 person on his team. It cost him $1,500 a month, and they edit up what he's doing. But a lot of times he's like, if I don't get them the information ahead of time, at the end of my day, he'll do the posting because he's like, they're not great at titles or thumbnails. And he's like, so sometimes I'll do the posting and I'm training some people up. But he found his son to edit and his assistant at the real estate office. And $1,500 a month, it's only 15 grand in 10 months. The commission on 1 house is enough to pay that. Even if he doesn't make any money for the first 9, if you got some cash flow to invest in the media company startup that you're doing. What's fascinating, though, is he's like, the phone started ringing. I go, how have you attributed ROI? He goes, there's 1 deal that's probably going to be worth about $350K that's happened because the phone started ringing because someone saw me on Instagram and then they shared the video. But now we're also tracking, I can attribute this to actually leads, sales, clients. My friends Levi and Travis in Dallas are having the same thing. They did 90 million top line, just organic YouTube, and 3 million in real estate commissions from organic YouTube videos. So that's the story is, if you are committed to it, then you can find the 45 minutes or the hour and a half that it takes you a day. And then maybe it takes you 3 hours at first and you're super stressed and you're very nervous. I respect that. You're anxious. It's super tough. I've been doing this for a while. But also as you commit to it, it's kind of like riding a bike. Eventually you have training wheels. You eventually kind of go slow, but then eventually you're out there, able to like ride on your own. And then you don't have to think about it anymore. I don't really have to think about it anymore. I just kind of tell the story I want to tell. And I learned the platforms. And guess what? There's good news. You can follow channels like Think Media that will walk you through how to do this stuff step by step. So that's what I would encourage business owners to do when it comes to this video marketing and getting started, especially right now in 2023 with vertical video is one of the biggest opportunities to start simple.
Yeah, I mean that's how I've been focusing on that vertical video. I did a couple like long form, and then I was like, I don't know, like this is just not like taking more time. I want to develop this like a strategy, so I'm just gonna commit to the shorts. And then I have my girlfriend, for example. I got her a premium version of CapCut, so that way she can change certain colors and stuff. It's like $8 a month, and then it's my girlfriend doing it on her tablet. That's it. Like on her the cheapest iPad, like, and she can do it, right? Like not out of memory. Then she just does it, post it, delete it, right? Do the next one, right? And it's a matter of if you don't have money, then partner up with people that also don't have money, right? That you can offer value, all right? Or people like, having my girlfriend and having I have one of my assistant from the Philippines. Like he helps me with the posting, with like graphics and different things, right? It's just a matter of finding the way. Like there is so many different ways, and then if you can do like short video and really just be willing to suck and just go for it, just learn. I mean, you see my previous videos, I've gotten like a lot better, and I'm still like, still in the process of learning these things. And one thing that you maybe kind of like didn't mention specifically, but it could be assumed, is like not only the fact of getting leads and stuff. Like maybe you're getting leads through email, right? Like cold email, I mean, still pretty good. All these different things that you're doing when you're doing outbound, especially one of the first things that you do when you're starting out. They gonna be like, who's this person that just reached out to me? And then they go and look you up, and then they be like, oh, this is the nurture, and then if you do like sales objections in your content, for example, right? Like, oh, like people come to me and they usually tell me like, what if I don't make an ROI on PR? It's like, oh, like, look, this is what I say to those people. And then when people go and they already thinking that, because because obviously you went through sales calls, people are asking these things, then they're like, oh, I will always wonder about that. And then they keep looking, right? And then you talk about stories, about the like, client stories, about yourself, so people connect with you. And then another thing that I would say too is like, if you want to have like, there's like this ratio that I learned from actually Josh Villarreal. Like this guy like came out of nowhere and from 1,000 followers to over 100,000 followers in like a month and a half. So what he did was like doing this ratio of like, okay, I do real estate. Let me focus on the broader sense of the real estate side of things. Everybody wants to make money, save money, or like having hacks or something, right? So it's 20. So he does every 30 videos, he does like 20 broad. 5 of them are like clients, authority pieces. And then 5 of them, him, like, this is me. So you get to know me and the why. Those might not get the most amount of views because a lot of people won't be interested, but then those are like the ones that you actually sell people on. And then the broader ones is where you get the awareness. It's like, oh, I want people that find me on the discovery page then would never have seen me before if it wasn't because of that. And then you have a pinned post that where you sell them, right? Like where you like they get to know you, they get to know your authority. So that's the thing that I wanted to add. You kind of touch it up a little bit, but I just kind of want to wrap it up with my personal experience.
I love it.
Thanks for this. So I typically like ask about like friction points and stuff, but you kind of touch on that already. So one thing that I want to know, it's like, based on all this topic that we touch on, is there like any 1 or 2 big takeaways that you can tell people, maybe, or like on things that you haven't said already, but that will complement the advice that you already gave the audience?
Yeah, I think one thing that would, after you punch fear in the face and press record, you cannot steer a parked car. So you're moving. Don't overthink it. Post your first video. I want to challenge the listener, if they're not posting video content, to post your first vertical video within the next 24 hours. And you should post it immediately after this podcast. At least start with stories on, Instagram stories or whatever. Okay. Then as you grow, I would encourage people to use the perfect video recipe, which sort of reveals where people make mistakes as well. So the perfect video recipe is 4 ingredients. And the cool thing is, making video content might be stressful and overwhelming, and it could be like cooking. Now you're listening to this, you're a good cook, but I discovered this thing called HelloFresh, right? They ship a box to you. I'm not a very good cook, but I learned I just open up the box. The ingredients are in there. There's a little card that just tells me what ingredients to do in what order. So that's why we created the perfect video recipe. Just follow the recipe and you're going to get views. You're going to get awareness. Your videos are going to do a lot better. Here's the 4 ingredients: the big idea, the hook, the content, and the transition. This is for YouTube. The big idea, the hook, the content, and the transition. The big idea is the topic, the title, and the thumbnail. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they just start making videos, but they actually don't pick out the most important thing. Some people think it's the title and the thumbnail. What's even more important than that is the topic. See, if I pick up my phone right now, there's actually unlimited things I could talk about. Now, if I want to stay on brand, I should probably talk about video marketing, but even still, tens of thousands of topics. I could talk about microphones. I could talk about cameras. I could talk about strategy. I could talk about somebody like an example. I could tell a story. So it could be kind of overwhelming. One of the biggest keys is think about your own behavior. As you scroll through YouTube, you only click on things you actually care about. Somebody could upload 200 videos. They might go through your library or my library in our YouTube channel. They don't care about the topic. Like, they're going to pick a topic so like getting a topic that is top of mind, getting topics. And so some of the best topics are, what is the biggest pain point of your target audience? What's keeping them up at night? What is their biggest ambition? What is it what topic would they want to click on? Because here's what I've learned. You could have the best lighting, best camera, best, set, best all this kind of stuff, but just talk about something people don't care about, then they won't watch it. You could just be shooting on your phone with none of the fancy stuff, but deliver value related to the topic that is most top of mind and most desired by the target audience, and they will click on it. And so people don't spend enough time picking out the right video ideas, the right video topics. And then once you're clear on that, crafting a title. This would be the term that your audience probably know, copywriting. These days, ChatGPT will write you 10 great YouTube titles if you tell them what topic it's on. But you might want to finesse that. And ultimately, those words matter. You want to write good advertising headlines for your YouTube videos. You want to write good copy, good text. A lot of times, we will brainstorm 10 titles to come up with one that we actually finally select, and we craft it, we refine it. And then the thumbnail, it's like a billboard for your content. So one of the most interesting things is that, if possible, before you record the hook, the content, and the transition, before you even record the video, I would challenge, you're super clear on your topic. You actually know what your title is ahead of time, and you know what even your thumbnail is going to be, because the beginning of your video is kind of a continuation of the promise and that you made in your title and your thumbnail and the big idea, the topic of your video. And then simply after that, the hook is just the first 10 to 30 to 1 minute, 10 seconds to 30 seconds to 1 minute of your content. The mistakes people here make is they're boring. They introduce themselves. That's unnecessary. They have a long intro with their logo and a bunch of music, all unnecessary. They even restate why you're there, kind of also unnecessary. If the title and the thumbnail lets people know why you're there, you can just get right into it. That's what's working on YouTube right now. Literally, you just pick up the conversation, because if you framed it properly, like you're getting right into it. In movies, you'd call it cut to the chase. James Bond doesn't begin with the backstory. He doesn't begin with him walking in. He's, martini shaken, not stirred, slow, chill. It begins with the chase. Helicopter scene, swoops in. He's like on a surfboard. He's got 2 machine guns. People are like, on jet skis following him. You're like, how did he get in this situation? You look at the new Uncharted movie based on the video game. It cuts to the chase. He's flying out of a plane. Things are flying at him. You're like, what happened? And then the movie goes back. So content creators, business owners in general, could cut to the chase in all their marketing, but definitely in your YouTube videos. You want to start fast. That's the hook. And then in the content, be brief, be bright, be fun to be done. Videos should be as long as they need to be, but as short as possible. Trim the fluff. And then
I have here, the name of my book is Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone.
Hey, nice.
So, you said that, I was like, wow, like literally that great title for my first book with Jason Miller.
Man, I love that.
Bestseller, international bestseller. So yeah.
Congrats. And then lastly, the transition. Interestingly enough, on YouTube, you want to transition to another video. So yes, you could have a lead magnet or a freemium. Yes, you want to send people to your web class. Yes, you want to get them on a sales call. And that's all good. You could do that in a pinned comment in the description. You could say, hey, jump on the phone with us for a strategy call. Fine. But YouTube best practice is actually, if you want the algorithm to suggest you, is to keep people on the platform. Do we send people off the platform? Sure. But do we also grow? Yes. So your opportunity, this is a whole different way of thinking. Sometimes people think of YouTube in terms of what is one single video I could create. And I encourage people to think of series, meaning you finish up one video that solves a particular problem, answers a particular question, but then agitates another problem and says, and so, hey, by the way, we just talked about this, but if you don't get this right, you're definitely going to need to learn this. So click or tap the screen because I break it down in this video, and we'll talk soon. End quickly and point people to another video, because ultimately what you want is you want to build up a library of videos where people binge your content. They don't just watch one episode. They get stuck in watching all 4 seasons of Breaking Bad back to back. And I don't know if it's healthy, but like it's a little dark, but I mean, you spend a lot of time. And so you want people stuck on your YouTube channel like, wow, that was good. Oh, that opens up another question, another answer, another question, another answer. And you already touched on this. What happened during that time, the amount of know, like, and trust, the amount of persuasion, the amount of people getting to know you, the amount of even overcoming objections before someone even came in deeper to your world has happened on YouTube. And so what hurts direct response marketers is they're like, it has to be one video and then they have to go into the sales process. Whereas 2023 marketing is actually a little bit more like people are going to kind of hang out maybe in the lobby for a while, check you out, maybe try a few appetizers for a while before they want to go to like the main course and really commit. You know, they might just go to the bar, have an appetizer and a few drinks. They're not sure if they want to sit in the restaurant yet. They're not sure if they want to get a membership to the restaurant yet. And so having that mentality in terms of creating valuable YouTube content that allows you to also build an audience, build subscribers, build momentum, build viewership, get people binging videos, YouTube's happy. And then ultimately on a macro, it's being a little bit more patient. You're going to be more happy because when more people are there and more subscribers are there and YouTube is giving you free organic traffic, then when you give an invitation to leads, for someone to sign up or to get a lead or to get somebody on a call, you're going to have more people there even listening to you. But also as people, you create demand for your products and services. People will also, they're smart. They'll figure out how to get in touch. So, you know, you maybe have viral appeal or VFM, viral for me, 100 or a couple thousand views, but a few people in there are like, this is exactly what I need right now. This is the person that sounds like they could help me. They can find their way in your description and find out what to do next. And so that's the perfect video recipe. It is the big idea, the hook, the content, and then the transition. If you don't get it right the first time, I didn't get cooking chicken right the first time, and I still don't get it right. But if I keep showing up to the kitchen and I keep understanding, oh, maybe I should pull it a little soon because it's the momentum of the heat. Yeah, I should actually do this temperature on the stove. Ooh, I'm going to try these spices. Oh, I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to cover it with tin foil because it's going to trap the moisture in there. You'll learn these nuances as you go, but just keep using the recipe. Keep showing up in the video marketing kitchen and cooking up some meals, and over time you're going to get better. The results are going to come and you're going to be blown away by the power of using the perfect video recipe.
I love it. I mean, I really like this recipe. I mean, I heard all about like titles and thumbnails, and I love how you separate it, like the topic. It's not like having just the perfect title, but if the topic in general is just like bait and switch, then obviously that's not going to help you. And I know about this strategy just by looking at it, which it was the transitions. But when you said transitions, like I was like, I'm not sure, because it could be transition, like, you know, from one clip to the other. But then you was like, oh, from one video to the other on YouTube, and very, very strategic about, oh, you like this video? Like, just click on here and like this, you're going to love this video, especially because I go deeper into this one thing that I mentioned in this video. And I never had somebody to say it like that, especially not in the podcast. And I really appreciate you talking about that. And one thing that I wanted to talk about, that I completely agree with you. And I tell this to people all the time, having call to actions and and just being very intentional about driving people to where you want. It is good, but if you just focus on giving so much value, even if it's hard to get in touch with you, people will find a way. Period. Like they will, like I've done it. Like, oh, I connected with this person. I signed an ad. I was like, how can I get on the phone with this person? I need to talk to her. And I just literally look at like in her Facebook. Then I saw a link there. I went to that link to the another link and another link. I found something to get 15-minute call with her in somewhere buried in like her personal website or something. And I got on a call and then we build a connection, all that stuff. And then from that, like I was able to get a couple of my clients and even myself into Forbes. So like, you see, like for me to be able to get there, like I figured it out. She wasn't like in the ad, it was like, hey, join my group. And in this group, I'm going to do these things. And then I just found a way to get to her, right? So just get out there, make sure that people know about you and give them so much value that even if it's hard to get to you, they'll find a way. So that is the thing. And obviously, the easier that you make it, the better. But just don't focus too much on like, schedule a call here, now. Like, just give them content, give them value. And when they're ready to take action, they will. So that's something I just wanted to touch on that because it was just such a great point. And I've seen this. I mean, one of my clients, David A. Perez, he's a tax strategist. He has a link tree as his link, which a lot of people are, oh no, just put something direct to this thing. Look, people want to see their content, his content. Like his content is so good that people will like, oh, Linktree, I'll navigate this until I find a way. If I get mistaken, I need to talk to this person. Like, right? If you create that through content, people will find a way. I just wanted to like stress that out.
100%.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come here and like give me a lot of value, a lot of energy. I mean, I made a couple of notes and stuff. I really like the quote that you said about like reasons come first, then the results come later, right? So how do you say? Can you say that again? Like you have it like particular way?
Yeah, reasons come first, results come second. And I mean, for me, like in 2009, my wife almost died, and I had been doing YouTube I started a YouTube channel for my church in 2007. We got married super young. We bought a house on declared income because we thought, it's all going to go up and we were going to tighten our budget. We house hacked and we had roommates, but the Big Short happened. And I was working for an organization and there were some moral failures in the leader. So the organization fell apart. And so in 2009, I found myself in a hospital room with my wife for 6 days. And that's when I really started to think about what are my reasons? Reasons come first, results come second. And I'll admit, I felt challenged by God to like man up, to step up. Like, man, I got to take care of my wife. I got to figure out how to pay these medical bills. I have to. So when I talk about even reasons, there could be reasons like, oh, there's a good marketing opportunity. But I want to challenge the listener. Like when your reasons are strong enough, it's like where there's a will, an unbreakable, unshakable will, there's a way. And my reasons, as I started thinking about, okay, I've been doing video for like 7 years now, and I've been helping others with video, and I've been doing YouTube, and I see an opportunity there, and I've been learning about affiliate marketing, and I've learned about how to kind of make some money. And I thought, oh wait, but up until that point, I was a little bit comfortable and a little bit complacent because we were surviving. But then I got faced with death. Talk about a motivator. And I got faced with like, man, life is short. Am I really living all out? Am I playing all out? And am I able, like, what do we need to do for our future? So my reason became not like fame or fortune or more followers, which are all cool, I guess. But for me, it was fighting for my faith, fighting for my family, fighting for our future. And that lit a fire in me that then drove me to keep figuring this out, keep studying, keep posting. Not letting my small YouTube channel make me small-minded, not letting my small business make me small-minded, and to continue to learn and grow and practice and stretch. And that was 2009. My first video I uploaded was in 2010. That was 13 years ago. Now we're an 8-figure company, 20 W-2s, 10 contractors. But we've been through hell, man. And one of the things I learned is that if you're going through hell, keep going. Like, don't, I think it was like, though I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. It's not, though I set up camp in the valley of shadow of death. It was, I got to keep walking through it. So I want to encourage people, when your reasons, you start thinking, what do I want to build? What's the impact I want to make on the world? What's the message I want to get out there? What's the revenue I want to make? Who do I want to hire? What's my dream team? What do I see? What's the future that I see? What's the vision that I see? Who do I respect online? Who do I admire? Who do I want to emulate? There's a place for you in this content creation game. There's a place for you building a personal brand. If you're not being invited to the table, you could build your own table. But also, this might not be super encouraging. Are you willing, though, to put in 13 years of work to build a brand where they give you a gold play button eventually? Just get clear on your vision. Because if you got strong enough reasons, I believe you could do it. I believe you're listening to that. I could believe you could do it. But 99% of people are like, oh yeah, this looks super cool. This is a quick way to make money. This is a quick way to maybe like grow. I kind of want to go viral too. Okay, yeah, but are your reasons strong enough to keep you going when you feel like you want to quit? Are your reasons strong enough to keep going when you're in a season? I don't wake up feeling like I'm going to click my heels like a leprechaun and I want to film videos every day. You gotta have drama with your in-laws. I got freaking back pain. I'm about to turn 40. I got I'm tired. I don't feel like doing this. It's kind of a hard season. Ted Lasso season 3 just came out. There's some other things that could distract me. I could go eat some chocolate-covered gummy bears. There's a lot of other things I could choose to let distract me. But then when my reasons start to fire, the fight, starts to bubble, man, I'm fighting for my kids. I'm fighting for legacy. I'm fighting for future generations. Now I'm fighting for my team. I'm trying to keep my team members employed because we have like 50 people depending on us when you add up the kids. And so my reasons are strong. Like, you got to get on YouTube, but spend some time. I'm sorry to go off on this, but you talked about the quote. This, I think, is the game. When you get so clear and you wake up every day knowing that your goals, not just setting goals, but having deep, strong reasons before that, the results follow. Reasons come first, results come second.
I love it. Thank you. Look, don't worry about it. I mean, I'm glad that you did go into that, because I think that is the hardest part of entrepreneurship, of being a business owner. I mean, I haven't been doing this for 3 years yet. And I already, have big responsibilities. And I think about that all the time. It's like, it's not a matter of, oh, can I quit and do something else and work for somebody, especially after all the experience that I've gained and all that stuff? Of course I can. But it's not a matter of that. It's like, I have people that depend on me, like they pay their bills and stuff because they work for me. And that's a big responsibility and something that I need to have a very strong why. So regardless of the challenges that happen, I can keep pushing, right? That's why like the North Star, or I like calling it like that anchor, that like it's anchoring you. Like when everything goes south, and it's like you go back to that thing that keeps you grounded. That it's like, okay, this is the reason that I need to push. Even if I don't know how I'm going to solve it, I'll figure it out. Just keep pushing. And that's something that is so big. And thanks for sharing that story, because one thing that I'd say almost every podcast is that one very key word of this podcast for me is perspective, right? And being able to see this, someone's as successful as you, to tell that story behind the success, right? It's not an overnight success. Right? I mean, 13 years of going through like The Big Short, and now now there's a new season coming up, right? So there's a lot of things. I mean, like, recession is real. It's here. It's getting worse. I mean, the dollar is losing value, all these things, but there's always ways to make money, to support each other, to stay centered with your why. And there's always pivots and stuff, but like, if you are very like you have that will, like you're very clear on why you're doing the things, you'll find a way. Just connect with the right people, make relationships with people. And look, I'm doing it right now here with Sean, and just lead with value, like I did with him. It's like, hey, like, let's get here, let's meet, and it's like, let me have you in my podcast, right? And all those things. Just become as valuable as you can, have a very strong why, look for people that are like-minded, lead with value, and then just keep going. Just test, validate, improve, and keep going. Just keep doing that. So Thanks for giving me this opportunity here to like just have this amazing conversation with you. I think that we both like did some cool added some cool points here, and I just like piggyback on the things that you were saying, and thank you for taking the time. I know, you know, you're really busy, you have all these things going on, and for you to take like almost it's been like almost an hour now coming up of your time, that means a lot to me. So thank you, and I know that the audience will appreciate this, and I can wait to make clips of it and everything. So I'm gonna definitely, like, I need to check out like the YouTube secrets. Is something that I had it in my to-do list. I literally have it in my list since we talked, and I got to get to this. One thing I want to ask you about. So because I have this situation right now, and I just kind of want to take this opportunity. If I were to have somebody, either a client or myself, that want to have somebody, okay, I want you to do YouTube for me or video marketing full time. What kind of like route, I know, like, do you think the books should be first and then your videos, or like the videos and then the book? Like, how would you think to get somebody like, hey, entry level or a little bit of experience, this is going to be my director of video marketing? What route would you send them?
To train them?
Yeah, to train them and to become like, you know, because they got to start somewhere, right? Even if they have experience, you know, how they optimize themselves, right?
Well, when it comes to hiring, you either have to pay for an expert and somebody who's already done it once or twice successfully, or you go the farm team route, and it might be anywhere from an internship to a paid internship to they're going to develop the skills with you. And that is a budgetary option. And there's all kinds of dynamics as well. Like maybe you're going to hire more for culture and chemistry and character, because you love the person and you see they're humble and teachable and they can learn. That's the majority of the opportunity in today's world, because this is a new set of skill sets. And so absolutely, you could go the farm team route and say, connect with Think Media, you know, immerse yourself in that world, go through Video Reiki Academy, read the book, study their stuff, and then apply all of that. And I'm going to pay you X, and I'm going to give you performance of the channel, because it may not even be bringing anything in right now, but if we could grow this together, like, let's build it. It's more rare that someone, even A, that you can find the right person, but B, that they actually have the skills. But Neil Patel told me this. He's like, if you want kind of a guarantee that someone is going to be successful at something, just hire someone who's been successful twice. So then just ask them to show you their portfolio. They're like, oh yeah, here's the first person I did this for. Here's the second person I did this for. And here's the channel. What'd you do? Oh, I architected the videos, and I ran a graphic designer. And even if it was like Fiverr, this would be the person at the top, right? If it's the YouTube shredder, YouTube director, creative director of YouTube, and they're, you know, or social media in general. And so they run the contractors and the Upwork people, and they strategize, and there's a long form video podcast, and they cut it into clips and lead that whole process, and they distribute it vertically, and they time code everything, and they know all the different details. It's probably going to be pretty expensive if they are at that level of skill, but then you just determine if you can afford that, and then you just hire them. So either way you go, those are, in my opinion, your options. And of course, there's a spectrum in between of what level of skill they might bring to the table. I will tell you this, the number one problem, 100% of the entrepreneurs, coaches, course creators, speakers, people that like I'm in masterminds with, is they all want this person.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, 100% of people want to just hire off the shelf someone to do YouTube for them. And so that's also a big opportunity. But people ask us, we're not an agency. So people,
I know that, so.
Yeah. And so, but we get the requests all the time. Like, would you just do this for me? So there are a few agencies kind of out there. The problem, agencies have trouble scaling. This is a whole other conversation. Usually if you work with somebody that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clients, you're their first set of clients. That's probably fine if they're good. But then they're trying to scale their agency. By the time they're taking on 20, 25, 30 entrepreneurs, the quality of the work is way down, and they've outsourced you to AI and something else. And, you know, any area of your business is only really going to be as effective as it is effective to the degree that you lead it, cultivate it, invest in it, understand it, nurture it, and take care of it. The entrepreneurial myth, 1% of people get lucky and maybe just hire somebody. They're like, oh yeah, I just hired somebody and the YouTube magic just started happening. Yeah, probably not. You have to have buy-in as the founder, CEO, key person. And you have to have enough level of obsession to get in and understand it and learn it so that you can even find the right person. And then it's a dynamic conversation. Yeah, you want to grow as a visionary or grow your revenue or grow as a leader that you could attract and get that person on your team. Or just someone who you can develop and then resource them and cast vision, and also have the patience. Because if you're going the farm team route, it's going to be a little bit slower. But if we went all the way back to like, I have my strong enough reasons and I'm committed to this. I just was on a conversation yesterday, driving somebody to their business event here after we shot a podcast here in Vegas. And the same thing, they were thinking about, they're a very busy CEO. And I was like, you need to hire somebody. And they're like, actually, I think I know someone. And we discussed it and like, yeah, it's probably the person. And give them maybe a little bit of upside. And they're maybe not fully ready, but the resources are out there. There's courses, there's books, there's YouTube videos.
But there's so much, right? And that's why, look, to be honest, I even ask people like, who's the best YouTube guy that you know? And then like when other people even say your name, it's always like, oh, I got to talk to him, because it's not, look, I'm a marketing strategist with a background in PR, right? And for me as a marketing strategist and knowing for my clients, learning strategy is everything, right? So that's why I asked you this question, because it's not a matter, like the who is very important, right? But after you got the who, then you go to strategy. Right? Because it's not a matter of like, I'm going to take this who and I'm just going to throw and see what sticks. It's a matter of like, let me have a strategy, test it, validate it, improve. And
then I guess my question would be, does the who have the strategy, or are you going to come up, or is strategy Foo going to have the strategy? So that's up to you. So for a lot of people, they actually are probably not going to go figure out the YouTube. Well, one option is get a who's at a level of strategy. Because you're like, listen, I'm creating the content, I'm publishing the content, I've got the IP, I've got the frameworks, I've got the proprietary process. I just need someone to do the YouTube and the content thing for me. That's why I'm speaking. That's a higher level person, probably a 6-figure person. On the flip side, most of the time, you mentioned you're a marketing strategist, I would probably argue it's going to be you. And it's probably going to be 99% of the entrepreneurs listening to this. Outsourcing strategy is very difficult and oftentimes fails. So it's when you pick up the reins for your own business to carry the torch on the strategy. I think the other key thing is to find success leaves clues. So just model after the masters, meaning this. Do you want to be Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David? Do you want to be Gary Vee? Do you want to be Alex Hormozi? And I'm speaking to YouTube channels. You want to be Grant Cardone? I don't think Grant's doing YouTube very well. It also doesn't really matter because he's got a big enough brand. Alex just crossed 1 million subscribers. He's doing it at a crazy level. They invest $150,000 a month in content. That's human resources. So they saw the reasons. They committed the time and the energy and the people and the dollars. And that's between both Alex and Layla. So you can kind of see, like in terms of strategy, Dave Ramsey. Do you want to be Dave Ramsey have multiple voices? Are you going to do a 2-hour live show on a separate channel a couple of times a week? Cut the best clips out of that, put it on a different channel. Do you want to be Valuetainment, have multiple channels, Valuetainment clips, build out other personalities? Do you want to be a lot of more niche people? Do you want to be Evan Carmichael and chop up clips of other people and kind of create a brand? In terms of the approach, we teach the 7 R's. It's an unbreakable framework, which we don't have time to get into it, but that's inside of our Video Rake It Academy. It is in and of itself an unbreakable strategy, but it's not one size fits all. The key leader should get clarity. It is one size, our 7 R's fits all, but like it's up to you. And then we do this like through our deeper coaching to reverse engineer your approach and what's your model going to be. So, but I also think it's pretty set up. It's just a level of execution. You can do a video podcast. Great. Video podcast, clips from the video podcast, shorts from the video podcast. And, looking at people out there that are, Carrie Newhoff is a good example of a very lean setup. Like a lot of times virtual like this, one of the biggest leadership podcasts, YouTube is not his main platform, but it's going very well. And it's pretty simple. Good titles, good thumbnails, good guests. And so what's he doing? So that would actually, our stuff meets a very practical application of that. Hire whoever you can find, but figure out the strategy probably on your own. Have clarity of, I kind of want to do a mix of kind of what Gary's channel is, but probably not, because you're probably not going to do daily V, or you are. You're probably not going to do trash talk. You're probably not going to be this other stuff. So you reverse engineer back from that. Like, okay, I'm probably not going to do Alex unless you want to do talking head videos. You could go early Alex. But these days he's got insane editors and they're like mini documentaries. You're like, oh, I'm not really at that level. So you're like, I don't know. I think I'm going to kind of do, Dave Ramsey has the call-in show. So I'm going to do a call-in show where I'm actually going to get people virtual, like their voices and audio, or I'll bring people on Zoom and I'll do coaching calls and I'll do coaching interviews where I do so
there's infinite ways to do it, basically.
The action item is to go to YouTube though, and success leaves clues. Research people who've already done it. There's a good book called Decoding Greatness. This is not something new. Steve Jobs didn't invent, stole from Gates, and Gates stole from Jobs, and they argued about it. And they were like, Steve was pissed, and he came to Bill Gates, and he was like, I can't believe, what you're doing with, I think, Windows and how you stole that. And he was like, Steve, you stole that from Xerox. He's like, we both stole this. So like, and that's one of the stories they talk about in this book. A lot of times, good artists copy, great artists steal. You're not going to actually be stealing the content. It's your own voice, your own brand. But like the models are, go into a research phase. Like the thing to do after this podcast, if you're learning into this, is go to YouTube and take some concerted time doing a competitor analysis or a market analysis of the different show formats, the different individuals, the different YouTube channels, the different formats that people are doing, and see what resonates with you. Is it just short 5 to 8 minute videos every week? Or is it a long form podcast? Is it all YouTube shorts because that's what's sustainable? So obviously we could go on and on, but chances, outsourcing strategy, I know that people can hire you because that's, marketing, PR. But for most people, entrepreneurs get lazy and they want other people to do too much for them. The problem is you're not going to probably find somebody on Fiverr, probably not even on Upwork, that's going to do strategy for you. Like that's your job, like strategy. And even too, I was studying strategy in like the book Positioning and all that stuff. They also said strategy is also not even really much of a community thing. You don't want 20 people at the strategy meeting. Chances are you're, as the key person, you clarify the strategy and then delegate it. And that's where if you do the heavy lifting on your content, then a $50K a year editor, thumbnail maker, titler, like, or whatever price, but like to give you like a lower, person would be great. But probably at $50K a year, you're not going to find the ultimate strategist to build this channel for you. That would come out of your mind and all the research and leaning into this that you do. And then they execute it. And their farm team along the way, they might have the potential to do it. But chances are, if they're at that level of strategy, then they're not available, or they're going to be 175K a year or 225, and they want a percentage of the business, which is also great because like if it's the right person, then that could be the way to do it.
Yeah, and I asked this because it's like it's a matter of, for example, like David A. Perez, he wants to have somebody that is full time doing like not necessarily like just like the strategy per se of like, but sometimes it's just a matter of having somebody that can be like the director of this, right? Because for example, like for me, like as a marketing strategist, like I am doing like a lot of things like, focusing on the events, focusing on those things. So it's a matter of like, do I want to just focus on the video side, or do I want, right? Because it's just doing everything with multiple clients, right? Like you said, and trying to scale, like, and I don't want to dilute the quality, right? So it's always finding like, what's the happy medium where you can hire somebody and then like have like with my help or like the help of somebody in another business, another like the strategist, and then like even streamline them with okay, this is what I'm setting up, but you should also consume this type of content too.
Yeah.
And that way, and I'm consuming content too. And then we can like together be like, okay, this is the thing. And that way, because you want employees that even if they don't, you know, that you can, they know a little bit, but now they grow too, right? You should always be growing, especially
Totally.
now, like, you know, with AI, all these things, like you gotta, like, it's new for everybody. So the opportunity is like, we all have to learn it, period. It's new for everybody, right?
And
So
nonstop learning.
yeah, exactly. So that was just to kind of like, just want to get your perspective about, because even for myself, like, I don't know as much as YouTube as you do, right? So I can learn from you and then apply that to somebody that will implement, right? So it's all like, that's why
Sure.
I ask you those things, because I think it's a great, the more streamlined you can get, like the better, because, you know, it's just, you cut time, you become more efficient. And
This is obviously just a niche thing, but a digital content producer in Las Vegas, that's what I looked up. A digital content producer, right?
Okay.
Who's the executive producer of my channel, whatever. 65,000 a year. The high is 103. And it's just kind of a rough range. But if you're actually getting someone to kind of like do all the things with that multiplicity of skill set, it seems pretty reasonable. I bet you're thinking 60, 70, 80, 90. And then if that is unreasonable, that just goes back to it's more the bootstrap. It's on you. It's the take the time to create the content. Or don't be surprised if the results, if you're getting 25K a year results because you pay somebody 25K. Well, then that makes sense. And so it kind of goes to how big are you thinking? What's the infrastructure you kind of put around things? But yeah, it's a very rare, like I said, the demand, there's a massive demand and under supply. And we're brainstorming like about doing training events for Shredditors, because what business owners want is Shredditors. Like if we could help people, if we could help develop these, and people ask me literally like 24/7, it's like my friends and stuff like, hey, do you know anyone? And here's what I also tell them. This is funny strategy, Foo. Even though we have a big team, I understand the content game so much, the opportunity that exists for you, for me, for everybody listening to this. I go, if I knew somebody that was good enough for me to recommend them to you, I would hire them before I recommend them to you. I would add, because we will start more channels. There is unlimited opportunity in this. So that, again, I want to put the impetus on the leader to say, you probably go farm team. And as far as whether my strategy is right or not, I think if you like, this is the future. Like this is the language. Video marketing is the language. A lot of people who, you know, use rocket fuel and EOS and traction, it's not the only methodology they've studied. Like a lot of people who've studied leadership didn't only learn one leadership framework from John Maxwell. They've also learned from somebody else. So while you're going to find a lot of overlap in the approaches, you know, it's like pick one strategy and run with it. I am biased to know that our 7R framework is unbeatable and unbreakable and proven, and we have, you know, thousands of students crushing it. And so, but you're going to find a lot of overlap in regards to that. I think it's just leaning in and biting the bullet, starting messy, hiring whoever you're going to hire, delegating however you're going to delegate, and then rapidly innovating and studying and learning. And what'll probably end up happening, of course, you make your own kind of process with it. Like my leadership is a combination of Craig Rochelle, John Maxwell, you know, Brenna Burchard. And so it's like, and now, and it wasn't just one. I could also be a John Maxwell certified leadership coach, I suppose. And I'm like only him, but I think almost everybody listening to this is probably a combination of. And so the fundamental principles are out there. I'd argue the harder part right now is just building the team and systems to actually do this. I know that's what you're asking. It's even the how is less of what it is. It's the who and the team and the systems and the risk and the courage of hiring that person, working with them for 6 weeks only to learn that they kind of suck, firing them and then hiring somebody else and going through the pain of entrepreneurship, of building out that media company. And again, you're probably going to get ripped off if you don't. Just the warning for maybe even your tax strategist is, again, I know you could try and do it, but like I've just learned in entrepreneurship, if you're too ignorant of an area, you're setting yourself up to get tricked. You're setting yourself up for not understanding the arena enough to hire properly. So somebody will, over, because if you can't, here, let's land the plane. If you go, I don't even know, if you can't write a job description and articulate the key performance indicators, what winning looks like, how you will measure success, other examples that people should look at in terms of the YouTube, like, you're not ready. So if you can't even write a job description or define the role that you would need that would help you, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable spot where you'll probably be taken advantage of. So you hire some social media manager that's like, yeah, I could do YouTube. And then you're disappointed. Well, unfortunately, the way the relationship started, the clarity that they were given at the start, all of the above was so lacking that, again, it just comes back to on you. So as the key person, as you integrate this for your clients, or as you do it, like as people listening to this, I know it's heavy, but remember, on the other side of building out a media company startup within your company, the hack, the shortcut is pay $250,000 a year to an absolute rock star because you're already doing it. They're like, you have a good vibe, and they've done it like 15 times. And then you can guess that 16th time will be pretty good because they've done it 15 times. For most of us, there's not going to be a shortcut. It's going to be farm team. You register for 2 or 3 conferences over the next 12 months to go to video marketing conferences, learn it, get word of mouth, figure it out, get the job description, or hire a placement company, get the things, really dial it in. That's at least my advice for what it's worth, in my humble opinion, from my perspective. But yeah, it's tough. A lot of people want it. There's a lot of competitive. You either are going to buy it and it's going to be expensive, or you're going to build it. And the key to building, I would say, is get started. Analyze your competitors, figure out a general idea of where you want to go, and then find something. It's the easiest thing to do to tell a team member is be like, see what Valuetainment's doing? That's what I want to do on a small scale. Can you help me build that? Oh yeah, And then if you can hear their language, they're like, yeah, what I would do. How would you do that? That'd be a good interview. So if we were on a small scale going to do what Valuetainment's doing, what would your approach be? Listen to them. If you're impressed, you're like, oh, they get it. If they're like, oh, dude, they're just talking out of their butt right now, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's some fluff. Like, that's just a low-level social media manager that really doesn't understand the game. Then that right there is the hiring process that you need, that would help you. And is easier said than done, but that's the workflow. Here's the 3 channels. I kind of want to do a combination of what they're doing. Can you help me build this? That's the model. How much would that be? And then the person's like, yeah, I could do that. And they're like, yeah, I'll do this, and here to the workflow, and this is what. Then you've struck gold. You negotiate it, pull the trigger, start building, and then know it's going to be constant adjusting and tweaking as you go from there, because that's how entrepreneurship is. I hope that's valuable, but that's what I would do.
Thank you for you give me a lot of details, and again, like what you said, is just test, validate, improve, right?
Yeah.
Like that is very key. And like, look, I just took the chance. I have you here. I have the situation right now. We're like, because like David Perez, like he's doing good numbers right now, so he can hire, right? And we're like trying to figure it out, like how to do it, right? Because like he wants to have somebody in-house, like I want to do it, but then he wants experience and wants these things, and he's like what's the best thing, right? Like we're always debating these things, right? And it's always like, what's the, like, how we gonna have like that good guidance? Because obviously entrepreneurship is all about like that, like you said, like, testing, validating and improvement. So but they knowing that, like, at least we're starting in the right place, right? Because it's like I've been doing it, I was doing it myself, and I was like, look, is this the best use of my time? Right? Like, so that's the thing. I still like have access to, but it's just a matter of like, is it the value or can I come in with the things that I'm learning and then mix it with other stuff, right? And that's why I love talking with people like you too, because as a matter of like that perspective of like, where should I be focusing my time? Because I'm learning every single day. I'm learning like every single day. I feed my mind more than anything, but I need to like find ways to, like, there's so much out there, like how am I analyze these things, and then how I properly build more, right? And that's what you said, like get the who, get the systems, get the right, all those stuff, right? Because there's so many ways, so many information that's why I like to ask him. But thank you for taking the time for doing this. I mean, this was an incredible conversation, something to look back for me. I mean, as I do clips and stuff, I'll keep consuming this, and then I'll keep you posted about that, and maybe I'll get you. He has a podcast too, David. So I can just get you there with him, and also you can just talk it out with him in his podcast, Build Your Own Economy. I think it's very fitting
awesome
for you too. So I'm gonna talk to him. But yeah, thank you again for doing this time, for taking this time. I mean, Think Media. What else can people look for finding you?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. If people want to hit up Think Media on YouTube, Think Media podcast comes out weekly. The book is YouTube Secrets, and all of the above. And then my name is Sean Cannell, rhymes with the YouTube channel, SeanCannell, all over social media. So if you're hanging out on LinkedIn or Instagram, Sean Cannell, and here to help with YouTube strategy. Foo, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for being here. Like, I mean, I reached out to him through a DM on Instagram. Like, it was that easy. It wasn't like this complicated thing. So like, you feel free to reach out, especially if you have some value, right, to offer. So thanks again. And this has been amazing. So this was Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel and Strategy Foo. This is us signing off.
Thanks for listening to Moments with Foo with your host, Foo. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.